marketing and momentum. I'm your host, Jimmy Nelson, and today we are coming to you live from the Royal Oath Insurance Group right here in Clinton Township, Michigan. Big shout out to the entire team here. Royal Oath is more than just an insurance agent. They're your promise keepers. Whether it's auto, home, business, life, or health insurance, they're here to protect what matters to you most. You can check them out at royaloathinsurance.com or give them a call at 586-238-3535. And, of course, today's episode is brought to you in part by our friends at Connection, the CRM built for closers. If you're a real estate agent, entrepreneur, or small business owner looking to automate, follow up, and close more deals and stay top of mind, then Connection is your secret weapon. Go to yourconnection.com and take control of your pipeline today. Now, whether you're tuning in live on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, or X, catching the replay on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeart Radio, wherever you stream, we're glad you're here. Do me a favor, hit that like button, drop a comment, and share this with a friend, and make sure you're subscribed so you never miss an episode. All right, guys, let's get locked in. We've got a powerhouse show lined up today, and if you're in business or real estate or just building something big, this one is for you. Good morning, everybody. Welcome into the Elite Real Estate Podcast this morning. And again, you guys know how excited I get when I have in-studio guests. So, KJ, my man, I reached out to you on Instagram, and I saw what you've been doing, and every realtor on here needs to know who you are. Because there's not much you don't do with houses, man.
Yeah, I do a lot. I do a lot with houses, you know. Been in it all my life.
Yeah.
You know. So like I always say, I'm an investor. Start off that way. But also grew up in the trade. So my dad was a master plumber. Granddad, one of the first black master plumbers. So literally since all I can remember is being holding tools, you know, help my dad on the job sites. And then all my family are also plumbers, heating and cooling contractors, electricians. I'm also a licensed electrician too. So I have right under 40 properties in the city of Detroit that I buy and hold. I'm also flip properties. I got a couple on the market right now that I'm flipping right now too. I'm actually I'm going for my builder's license too. I just got my
Why not,
from the state
right?
of Michigan. I just recently passed my. I just finished the class out. So you know all things real estate. So, and I would buy houses off the demolition list and put them back together, or even through the land bank. Or I've done MLS. I try to touch a lot, whether it be the Wayne County tax auction too.
Yeah.
I have a lot of experience in that field in that regard. So I mean, anything that's an opportunity, I always take advantage of it. And go for it.
Yeah. No, man, I was following you on Insta and like, I'm like, man, I got to get this guy on. Because, you know, again, it's like this stories, right? And I know you're tough because you held a tool bag for your dad and your granddad, which I did too, right? So you get yelled at a lot.
For the wrong
For those
tool.
of you that haven't done that role yet, like
the wrong tool, gotta go with the truck multiple different times.
Oh yeah.
And the truck's not clean.
Yeah.
You gotta find it through all the stuff.
Yeah. My granddad was a carpenter.
Okay.
Right. So I always worked. I was the same thing. Like there were days, I tell this story a lot. Like, I don't know if my mom even knows this, but like I would get called down to the office and he was checking me out of school to go work.
Nah. My mom went ahead.
I don't think my mom knew. I think my grandpa just stopped by and said, I'm checking him out. And you get called down to the office. I was like, what happened? We go down to the office. My grandpa's in the office. He's like, we gotta go work.
Go to work.
Yeah.
Pack up. Let's go.
Yeah. I was
cool.
like, sweet, I'm out of school.
That's cool.
Yeah. But I mean, like growing up like that, you know, and again, it's you get exposed to a lot.
Yeah.
You know, and like what was so obviously you grew up around the trades.
Mm-hmm.
What was it also in the real estate investing side too, or?
So more so my dad had a few rental properties, him
Okay.
and my aunt that I knew. So not too much in regards of the investment side and the real estate side. It was more so going in there to work under investors, property management companies, first-time home buyers. So we were just kind of always in it. Over people buying, they're trying to restore older historic homes in the city of Detroit too. So we were just around a lot of people who were investing. So we were actually subcontractors, as you know.
Yeah.
So it just kind of opened my eyes to it because we could do all the things on the house, like especially for the plumbing side. But then also I just want to kind of take it a bit further. So I think every generation we try to take it a step further from the shoulder that we're coming off of. So I know I had a great leverage backing from me starting off, like just being exposed to it. Like when I see a leak or I see an old pipe, it doesn't scare me. It didn't run me away. So all the things that I would see in these houses that were all messed up, I knew that they could be repaired. I knew plumbing was one of the big components that you would face in the house. Because once they see plumbing issues, they run. but I ran to it because I knew how to fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could do it yourself.
Yeah.
Right. Because the scary part, like as an investor side, is I got to pay the plumber.
For sure.
Like that.
For sure.
You guys are expensive.
For sure. It's definitely expensive. Definitely expensive to get there.
And super expensive now because it's a dwindling. All the trades are dwindling.
All the trades. I always tell, I'm helping a lot of like young guys and women to get into the trades, and I'm really pushing it because my mom was an educator, so I went to college route too, got a master's degree in cybersecurity actually, and then but also
so you could crack the code over here. Like
I did everything. I done worked the corporate jobs, the 9 to 5, government, real estate, entrepreneur. So I kind of touched all phases of different markets. Because it was helpful. Because even right now, like what we're doing now, when we're doing home inspections. I forgot to mention I'm also a home inspector too. I do that.
That's why I said every realtor on here needs to know who you are because like you could do everything.
And then now that also helps bring both sides together because I use my skilled trades background, but I also use my mom's educational background to educate the clients when they make these purchases in these properties.
Yeah.
So it's a kind of like it fits both worlds perfectly, you know.
And because I have a couple good, really inspectors that I really like, right? Because they can explain what's going on. Yeah. I've had the inspector like almost blow deals up. I'm like, it's not. Listen, man.
Definitely.
It's a switch. It's a outlet. We can change it.
For sure. It's
not an electrical issue.
That's why I say it's a benefit when you have dealing with a home inspector. In short, is that if they worked on houses or they have trade background experience, but then also you have to be able to deliver the message. So that's where it helps. When I used to be a consultant too, was that I used to, because being my background working for the government is kind of like it is what it is, but then the consultant helped me kind of lighten the blow. Because we're here as a home inspector is to identify what you don't see, but then also have to deliver the message. Because what I look at it, so my background with buying these rough houses, these messed up houses, dilapidated houses in general, I know that everything can be repaired. So it's like, how do I deliver the message to someone who might be a first-time investor, first-time home buyer, just to kind of give them that security? Because you also got to inform them, but also, like you said, not scare them, because I do know that everything can be repaired, but also that's why I try to leverage myself and always be a resource for them. So even throughout just not the real estate transaction, but once they purchase the property, they always know, because the first thing people get scared of is that they don't have a resource once they buy this property. They take this chance, they take this big risk, and everyone's already telling them, don't do this, don't do that. Then they don't have anybody that they can trust. And so I try to be that unbiased third party who's also a point. Once they're a prior client of mine, they always can give me a call, and I'm always here to help them out, whether it be I help them like by doing, or I connect them with the right people that they can basically make sure they get the job done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love it, man. And it becomes a big resource. Now, do you find it hard because you can fix everything and you've dealt with this for so long that you're just like, oh, it's fine?
That's why I try to I say that a lot, because it is everything is repairable, and I know because I've seen it, but then that's why I try to show them what's possible too. I think a lot of times people don't see the end in sight, and so I try to show them, whether it be on social media or like projects that I've done, just to show them what I started from and what I turned it into, by saying that, because my biggest thing, what I always tell everybody is that, and I wasn't who I was today back then. I couldn't buy the houses I buy today back when I first started. And I try to tell them, like, it's a progression. And so I didn't come in and start just gutting everything. It started off with, let me buy something light cosmetic where it might need a light paint, or maybe not need a kitchen upgrade. Not everything, but just something. But then over time, my risk tolerance began to build up, and I started getting more risky, and start going for those bigger projects. But I didn't start out the gate like that, because I also tell people that first experience means everything. Because if you have a good first experience, then now you would probably go back and do it again because you had that good experience. But if you have a terrible experience, you're going to want to sell that property. You're not going to want to do it again, and you're going to be done with real estate. So I try to also almost like do it in bite-sized turns for folks too. Yeah.
It's big. You can't boil the ocean, right?
For sure.
That's
a good one.
One of the things I always say, you can't boil the ocean, right? Like you got to sometimes just take these things chunks at a time. And it is, you have to know what you're doing. You got to be able to get your hands dirty a little bit too. Yeah. Right. Unless you have some untapped financial resource where you can just
know how, or you got the money to get it done.
It's one or the other. Yeah. It's one or the other. I know when we did our first flip, like I did almost all of the demo. You know what I mean? Like I had my 2 boys in there, and I'm like, all right, we got to start tearing all this stuff out. You know what I mean? Yeah. My youngest son got really good at taking off all the molding. You know what I mean? I'm like, all right, all this molding
gotta go.
All of it's got to go.
We get that sweat equity in there, and that's a great thing, because then now it's you have a form of appreciation to it once you kind of gone through it.
Yeah.
At one time, not saying you want to do it all forever moving forward, but it's good experience because then no one can just tell you anything. So then now you have that hands-on experience where you might understand how long it took you to demo. You might have that timeline set for when you hire a contractor. So when you have that real world experience, it just helps you further along when you start trying to invest in real estate too. Because I see a lot of people who just want to be the financial side, which nothing's wrong with that. But they don't understand the timeline of like contractors, and they don't have
90 days, baby.
Exactly.
90 days, man.
Exactly. Exactly. And then, you know, so that's why I always say having both is a great, a great approach to it. Because then I always felt like I didn't have the money to just pay people to get things done. I had to put that sweat equity in to get the ball rolling for me. Now I finally reached a point where I'm more so hands off of the construction, and now I'm full-time home inspections now.
Yeah.
But it didn't start off like that.
Yeah.
You know.
So where's your focus right now? Is home inspections mainly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I still like right now it's almost like the houses and the rentals, the flips are on autopilot. I have good teams now, where I may do light electrical for them, but typically now the home inspection business really took off, and I've been so swamped with that, which is a blessing. And that's kind of where I've transitioned over now to being more so that's like my full-time job is a home inspection business.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Which is important. Like that. Again, that's the crazy thing. I see, as a realtor, so I'm still a full-time realtor too. Right. So, but as I go into transactions, right, where I'm trying to get deals accepted on the buy side, I'm seeing so many people just waiving inspection.
Oh no, don't do that.
No,
don't do that.
I never have ever done that.
No.
Now, in information purposes only or whatever, right? I'll lighten it. You haven't been probably doing this long, but I remember like it used to be like on the buyer when it was a buyer's market, you could be like those switch plate covers need to be switched, or give me 10 grand off.
Oh wow, no, that's great. No.
Yeah, that used to be great on the buy side, but on the listing side, it was like, oh, this guy's gonna hammer me on this.
Yeah, and that's why also even too when I go out through these inspections too, I always try to give things that are reasonable. So a lot of the inspection, what I always try to tell them, because once like for me, touching every different trade that I've been a part of and having experience under, I have had great teachers. I always try to give the people all the information so they know what they're walking into. But it's not realistic to expect for the seller side to fix every single nick and cranny for that we call out.
Right.
So like what I always try to say, what's reasonable that's how I look at for when they try to negotiate, is that like people reasonably wouldn't expect to move in with a water leak or have a gas leak, or a hole in the roof. Those are reasonable expectations I always say. So like I always look at that term of reasonableness, and that's how I try to help them try to negotiate in their process a lot of the times too. So it's not just like how you said switchblade covers, not today. Like don't go focus on that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Focus on the things that are reasonable. What was somebody reasonably expecting? Typically, that's where like once they see the list, they're like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
I understand. I agree.
Yeah.
Usually that offers a seamless transition throughout that transaction that I've experienced.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's clients also have to understand they're buying a used house.
For sure.
Right.
For sure.
Like you buy a used car.
For sure.
There's some dings on it. You know what I mean? You're buying a used house, there's some dings on it.
Yeah.
And a lot of it, this might be interesting to you too. I read this stat not too long ago. It was talking about homeowners over the age of 70, that their houses typically sell for like 5 to 7% less than the neighbors. And it's because of just the general upkeep.
That makes sense.
Right.
That makes sense.
And so it's like there's general upkeep too, right? Like that's the hard part. There's tree branches on the like rubbing the roof.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so there's different stuff. So I think it's important that people understand there's going to be some normal wear and tear to this.
Definitely.
And
I like those older houses in general because they have good bones. And I always tell people I'd rather a house, basically like when the mechanicals get old, I'd rather the house just get older in age than it was installed improperly. So a lot of times those mechanicals were installed correctly at a time, but now what happens, everything has a service life.
Yeah.
And I'd rather deal with something that at the end of service life and just have to repair it now than as opposed to have to fix something that somebody came in and didn't have a licensed contractor come in and do the work, and now you got to figure out what's going on. But I always tell people, buy the good bones, and then if something's more so outdated, fine, but it was installed properly at that time. So I always go for those kind of properties too, because they were well maintained in general.
Yeah. And that's one of the things when I'm taking, especially like first time home buyers too, right?
Yeah.
I want to know hot water tank, furnace, roof. Like give me those 3 ages. If those are good, buy the house.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
because that's expensive stuff you can't show off.
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
for sure.
you don't bring somebody in your house and go, look at my new water tank. You know what I mean?
Nah,
Like,
yeah. And that's why I tell people the meats and potatoes of any like home in general is the outside basements, attics. And that means everything. The exterior, how's like to your point, how's the roof? Again, how's the exterior? Is there any indication that water is getting into the property? First thing when I go into the house is go right to the basement and check all the things you're saying, the electrical components, the HVAC, the plumbing, like you said, the water heater. I'm looking at drain lines. All those are the meats and potatoes of any house. So again, a lot of people get stuck on the kitchens, the bathroom.
Yeah.
That's what brings you in. But what keeps you in is the outside basements, attics. Because typically on the outside, I can see if water's getting in. On the basement, I see how the house is built and see what other issues we may see throughout the house. So by the time I get out the basement, I've seen basically told you about the whole house already.
Yeah.
You know, so I always tell people to look at the meats and potatoes. You know, any time you're looking to buy, even like to the point, I always try to advise the clients that we're on the phone and like we're trying to like schedule and everything like that. I always ask them like, because they don't know. Sometimes people they have their I always saw like Inspector Dad who bought a house 30 years ago.
The worst.
And they got the one. But I always try to give people because we want to be as granular as possible too. So they just have a good working knowledge. So like I always ask them like, hey, when you went to the showing, did you run the water? Typically they say no. And I say, well, we want to make sure it gets hot to your liking. We want to make sure the pressure is good enough for you. It's not to say that's something you're going to negotiate, but it's more so that they're being a part of the experience, being part of the process. They're looking more than just the kitchens and bathrooms, but they're also testing the house too, because that's the biggest thing that we don't want you to walk into the house blind.
Right.
You know, that's what also frightens people because they are for the first time they're hearing it is at the inspection. When they could start thinking about this beforehand and they start getting a part of the process, we try to bring them, make them hands-on, give them hands-on experience too, while they also at the inspection too.
Yeah. Oh, I always say,
yeah,
they have to be at the inspection.
For sure.
You know what I mean? They have to be at the inspection. And I'm usually there too.
Yeah.
But and again, I always like inspectors who have a license of some sort, right? Because then I don't have to be there right on time.
Yeah, for sure.
The inspector can go in without me.
Yeah.
You know, and some agents are really iffy about agents or inspectors that have a real estate license. You know, I'm like, why? They're not going to steal your client. Like they're an inspector. They don't want to. They don't want to do what we do.
For sure.
And we don't want to do what you do
at all. I agree with that. I agree.
But yeah, the Inspector Dad always shows up. That's always.
They got a tape measure. They asked me, did I see the refrigerator's not level? That's it could be.
What's been the strangest question you've gotten from Inspector Dad? And I like how you've named it now because
I call it Inspector Dad. Yeah. I got a corrosion. Like they always ask you, like it's always like try to one up, but that's why I'll be funny. So a lot of times they'll say the things that anyone can see, that it's corrosion at the water heater. It was a leak that came. You see the water stains, but then a lot of times, like, you know, being a licensed electrician, that's when I start getting to the conversation. I bring them to the electrical panel and I start talking about the electrical panel, talking about 14 gauge wire, 12 gauge wire, you know, between what's the max ampacity and things like that. Then I kind of lose them. Yeah. And then they kind of back off a little bit because they don't know, they're not well informed around electrical. You know what I mean? So typically they're not. But the funniest part with the Inspector Dad is always like, everyone can see the missing shingle, and then everyone has that inspector lens on inspection day. And so now that's kind of like what I would say is that they just kind of catch what anyone should normally catch, not what we get paid to catch, but they don't see. Yeah. They might not know that a roof shingle is installed improperly, that is actually sagging right there or sloping and out of place. They'll see that the shingle's missing. We clearly see that. Or the tree's in contact with the roof. They'll clearly see that. Yeah. But they don't see what you don't see. Yeah. It's the downspout, right? The downspout's not running away from the house. Really, I know. It's right here. I got it. Yeah. All that. They're like old AC unit, like old AC. Yeah, it's from the 90s. Yeah, it's from the 90s. It's time. You're right. You got that one correct all the time. Oh, it is the one-up game, right? Like, did you notice that? Yeah, and it's always but that's why you try to build that trust out the gate. So first thing we got to do is go to the electrical panel, see how much you really know, right? And then they typically back off from there. That's the old line. There was a movie back in the day. It was called Mr. Mom. Yeah, and a guy was working on his house, and the guy said, "What electrical are you on there? 220?" He goes, 220, 221, whatever it takes. Yeah. Yeah, 220, 221, whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. Yeah. You know. But yeah, it is interesting. And and I have a couple clients that will do the same thing, right? Like they because today, the clients and people that we're representing
have more information
Yeah,
at
for
their
sure.
fingertips
ChatGPT.
than they've ever had before.
Chat.
Right? Yep. They're going to chat. They're going to Claude, whatever, Gemini, whatever one they're using.
Yeah.
Right. And they're just putting in, I talk about it with home values.
Mhm.
People will go, it's 123 Main Street. What's my house worth?
Right.
And they go to chat and chat does its little thing and tells and spits out a number.
Yeah.
So I'm always like, with agents, you have to say, all right, well, if I walk in there, I said, you have to know what they're going to say.
Yeah.
It used to be Zillow, right? They always
for
went
sure.
to the Zestimate. Now they have more information, and now they can chat their electrical, they can chat their plumbing, they can chat. Now it's not giving them great information, but it's giving them information.
Chat's wrong too a lot of the time. I'm like, what is this? It might be a backflow. They like, well, that like a old plumbing, or it could be anything. Like a electrical conduit. I'm like, it's wrong. So it doesn't know. It's just trying to take a picture
it's guessing.
It is guessing. Realistically. So, but like sometimes it's right, sometimes it's wrong. But I've seen a lot of times where people have tried it and it's not been accurate in certain regards, because they don't know what to ask it either. It doesn't know what to look at. So like you might not say, is this old galvanized water supply lines? They don't know to say that. So it's just kind of, a picture can mean 1,000 different things to different people. So again, it's just trying to, decipher what you posted in, and you don't have no context to it.
Right.
So that's the only hard part, because it's great if you can direct it and kind of fine tune kind of what you're taking a picture of. But a lot of times you don't even have that information to even give it the best opportunity for it to kind of give you, because it can't figure it out once you kind of zero it in, like focus it in, then it's great.
Yeah.
But they try to take that and run with it. So I get a lot of list of questions that chat told me ask you all these questions, and I'm like, we literally talked through all that already. And they just kind of got that checklist. So that's kind of something I face all the time.
Yeah.
With these inspections all the time with chat and all the AI.
Yeah. Yeah. And one thing, I was just talking with a client the other day, and he took the inspection report, put it into chat, right, and put the inspection report into chat, which it did give him a lot of answers. You know what I mean? But I'm like, we can't do all of that, right?
For sure.
Like just
for sure.
Like we can't go ask the seller for all that, just so you know, right?
No, lots for awareness. Lots for awareness, so because the hardest part, I would say, the punch you don't see hurt the most. So we try to protect you from that blind side hit. So we try to protect your six. That's what I always say. So that's our biggest thing. So inspections, I always tell people too, inspections aren't pass or fail. They're just so you make the best informed decision, and then now you can use a report for a negotiation tool. Yeah. So that's like how I look at all of them. That's how I look at. That's how I tell everybody, because we want to make sure you know everything about the house. Yeah.
I need to know if there's a foundation issue.
Yeah.
Right. I need to know if there's a $50,000 fix when I walk into this place. Now, if I'm an investor and I can absorb that and roll that in my cost, then but the price of the house needs to reflect that I got to do a $50,000 repair. You know what I mean?
For sure.
That first flip we did, it had a foundation issue. We knew it.
Yeah.
But it was on the slab.
Yeah.
It wasn't in the house.
Yeah.
The house foundation was fine. The slab, they had water running under the slab, so it created like a river under there, and then that slab just cracked. So we knew that.
Yeah.
And we knew it was going to be about 20 grand.
Yeah.
But we walked into that flip knowing that was our first 20 grand was going to be just out
of there. Yeah.
Yeah. But again, you have to know that stuff, right?
My first flip I had bad foundation walls, and they got me on this. The one thing they caught me was the kitchen. I walked in. That's why I tell people, like, kind of try things out as if you live here already. Open to close doors, open close windows, cabinet doors, drawers. Because when I first flip I did, I had foundation issues. The walls were bowing. I already knew that already. But the one thing I didn't think about or know, I didn't pull out any of the kitchen drawers. They're all sink base. So sink base has the bottom cabinets open, but the drawer doesn't open. Like when you might put forks and things like that in your utensils. None of those open. So I had all the drawers at the bottom.
Wait a minute. So none of them
open. They're all sink based. So that's the first. I was like, come on. So of course I was using it as a rental. That's really not gonna fly. So I had to redo the kitchen. I didn't know, because I was just thought it was. I looked at it real fast. The look test. It looks good. That's all they did. And then I had to come out. Luckily, it wasn't a big kitchen, but I had to change out a few of those sink-based cabinets. It was crazy. But that was like my intro to real estate.
Yeah.
For real estate investing.
Yeah.
So okay, they got you. You didn't know. I didn't get in. I waived the inspection. I didn't know much, because I knew I know this, because I knew I had a strong background in plumbing.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about how everything ties together.
Yeah. You were like, I got plumbing, no problem.
But then, you still got it done, but it was just something that was those unforeseen costs that you don't see coming. Because the worst part is that You go through appraisals, closing costs, and the last thing you gotta do is now I gotta redo a kitchen. You know, it's like those are things those things are. That's why I always try to tell people, because a lot of times, speaking from experience, that if I can protect you from a blindside hit, that's what I'm here to do. That's what I want to do, and make sure, because I know the first time home buyers are going through closing costs, inspection costs, appraisal costs. And the last thing you want to do is come in on day one, the furnace is out. You know what I mean? They're not prepared for it. Those are big ticket costs that'll be challenging for anybody. And so we can protect you. That's half the battle for actually getting an inspection, you know. So if I would have got an inspection at that time, I would have knew.
Yeah.
But
that happened on that same my first flip too.
Yeah.
It was the day they were doing the tile.
Yeah.
So they had their mortar and they were getting ready to lay all this tile. Well, the furnace went out.
Oh yeah.
And it was cold.
Yeah.
And they're like, we can't do this. I go like, oh, I brought portable heaters in, and I'm just setting them up. I'm like, yo, you guys keep going.
Right.
I'll take care of the furnace. But I got heaters just blowing on.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you guys keep going there. Like, we ain't stopping right now.
I understand that. We do that too. You got
whatever gets the job done. Yeah. Whatever gets the job done.
Yeah.
What's been the hardest thing the hardest thing is, as far as like, because we knew that there was a shift in real estate, right? Like there was a time there you could pick up rentals and redos easy.
Yeah.
And it got a little tougher when things got more expensive.
For sure.
You know, so what's the toughest thing right now? Is it just finding the houses to flip, or to flip and hold, or is it just
finding the right deals? But then also, what I would say still, like, I'm best primarily in the city of Detroit.
Okay.
My hardest part is when you're doing the rehab, is that keeping it safe. That's my biggest headache in general. Because typically when I do these properties, I don't have an issue renting them out or too much selling them personally. A lot of times mine comes down to theft. Just trying to keep it protected.
Yeah.
Because it's like every project I think about that I've dealt with, more so or less, that's always been the main thing. When you leave out, am I gonna come back and this door be unlocked by the time I get back?
Yeah.
Because it's just, that's one of the hardest things to face when you put all that into it. Because that's what almost broke me when I first started, like my third house in. I got in there and it was a 2-family flat. I had everything done, situated. It was a land bank property. So land bank, you have to also take all the boards down and everything like that. So you have to be exposed when you do your final inspection with them. And then I came back to the house and the door was already unlocked. And we know he locked it, but once that's already there, and because they broke through the window in the basement, and then you see all the furnaces gone, the water heater's gone, kitchen's gone, and then you got to be able to go back, eat it, and then go do it again. Yeah, it's like everything tells you to run. Yeah, but then the fact to see it through, then that's how we're here sitting with you today. Yeah, but in those moments, you look in the mirror and do a reality check. It's like, am I really going to? What am I doing today? Exactly. Yeah, you sitting there when I just had everything done, kitchen's done. You know, and that's like that was my biggest challenge, my biggest hurdle that I faced to date. Because in those moments, you like want to quit. Like, this makes no sense, you know, because it doesn't make sense to go back and do it again. But then something about you is, no, I'm gonna wipe myself off and let me go right back and put it, because nobody's coming to save the day, right? And so I got to go back and finish the job. Yeah. And that was built when you were growing up, getting yelled at for bringing the wrong tools. Man, yeah. That was built all when you were growing up. Here you go, wrong tool again. I see the channel locks. You throw a pipe wrench. Like, okay. Yeah. You know, yeah, that was all built from getting tools for grandpa that were wrong. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah, for sure. For sure. Oh man. But you know, it that character building, you know what I mean? And it's a strong character because you have to go through stuff like that, you got to. Like, and there are those battles, right? Again, same thing. I had a house, I was listed for a client, and they went to do the final walkthrough, and the agent calls me. He's like, "Hey, did they take the furnace out?" I'm like, "I don't think so." Yeah. He's like, "Well, it's not here." Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of that with the AC units right now. I'm like, I see a lot of them. Every house I go, you see the fuse on the ground. Like, yeah, all the time, especially with ACs right now. Yeah, got AC units and all that. I see it all the time. It's crazy. It's crazy. But again, it's what we deal with. Yeah, right. And it doesn't matter what neighborhood it is. Yeah, it's happening. It happens everywhere. For sure. You know what I mean? Like, it happens everywhere. For sure. And you have to just kind of, like I said, absorb it, brush it off, and keep pushing forward. That's been probably my greatest challenge. I mean, because sometimes, like, anything that someone wants, like adding a bathroom is really nothing to me. Fixing something is nothing to me. Like, all that is a part of it. Yeah. But that's all what I expect to do. Like, if you sell in a house, they're gonna come back with something. It's just like, that's fine. We can do whatever they requesting to be done. But when you go in there, you don't budget theft typically.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I mean, that's not what you like.
you need to start adding 10% in
Yeah,
everything.
like you don't. That's not part of the budget. So that's the thing that I think that blindsides so much. It was like because it was all done, and then you come back and then it's gone.
Yeah,
It's that's the hard part I would say. But then you kind of get smarter in your process of how you kind of doing things, how you secure things. Because now how I do things now is different than when I started. So yeah,
yeah. Is it just a timing thing then? Like the process of the timing to finish it?
yeah. And I kind of have a different process now where I will leave it. I used to like when I first started, we just had a lot of materials just there. Like you just had materials, just like everything that we're not using right now, just sitting there at the time. But then now, almost once I do it, I install it immediately. But I don't put hot water heaters, furnaces in if I don't have to before I need to. And so I kind of wait for that because a lot of times what they'll do in general, from what I've been seeing, like they'll go down and break the basement window to peek in first, then decide they're coming in or not. Typically. I've seen that in a few houses. I'm like, why's my glass block window broke? And then that's because they peeked in.
Yeah.
Or why is the little vent that you can open at the window? Why is it broke? Because they peeked in. That's what they try to typically do now. What I've been seeing.
Whether it's worth it or not.
Whether it's worth it or not.
Yeah.
For sure. And that's why I try to keep it very until the last minute, and we'll go install it. So I try to kind of not just have things, but then also have a visual. So I put cameras up and things like that now, Wi-Fi or internet all throughout. So just to kind of keep eyes on it. So I would be in the middle of the night because when you are doing real estate too, especially in the city, you get kind of crazy. Because I mean, it'd be 1:30. I'm like, that I know they looking at it. Then you get in the car, you riding wherever it's at. You make you're the one looking like kind of suspicious now. And then you 3 o'clock again. You're like, I hope they didn't get me. So you ride back out again. My wife like, where are you going? But it's just like it kind of gets you like that because it means something. You don't want to. You worked hard for it. But I've done that a few times. Like when I work on the flip, you kind of know I'm working on the flip because I'm like doing a surveillance overnight. But that's the reality, especially in Detroit, what I've been experiencing. So I know a lot of my buddies who are also investing in the city, they do the same kind of thing. But that's why I said, let me get cameras so I don't have to do that all the time. I got visuals and having the right softwares in place, security systems in place to give me peace of mind.
Yeah. Yeah, it's big, man. And again, that's another added cost.
Yeah, I always added cost. Yeah,
that's another added cost. Like whether that's security or somebody stealing it.
Yeah,
either way, it's an added cost.
Yeah, for sure. It's all added. That I was like, okay, that's my challenging piece, I would say.
Yeah. What was the first one? You had a lot of issues with the very first one.
First one,
you had foundation and
foundation. Yeah, the foundation was jacked up. Bowling walls. Yeah, because I bought that when I was living in Philadelphia. So I moved around. I moved around a few times. So I went to school in DC. I used to live in New Orleans. New Orleans was kind of where I kind of got that bug for just wanting to know about real estate more. So let's just kind of really understand it, not just from a trades background, but also just how do you buy a house? What's the BRRRR method? How do you sell it? How do you flip it? So I was going to all different events, being basically like a fly on the wall. So just any room I get involved in. Then I got to Philly. Bought my first primary property. I just went for it. Never been to Philly, never lived in Philly. And I said, I'm buying something because I was prepared and I got all the information.
Yeah.
Because I'm very actionable. Like I already did the learning, the education piece of it. So I went for it. And then I was like, when I was living in Philly, I was debating on where I wanted to buy it. Was it either? Because I was in the middle, because in Philly, you're on the East Coast. So it's like, of course you can't buy in New York. It was too expensive for me. Or going back to DC and investing in DC was too expensive, but the middle ground was Philly as well as Baltimore.
Okay.
And I was debating on Baltimore, Philly, and Detroit. And so I was like, well, no, I got more resources back in Detroit. And so that's when I started investing back home. So I was doing a lot of sight unseen in Detroit.
Yeah.
But that's why I ended up ultimately coming back and investing here. But that's where it was like dealing with contractors. And that's why I can kind of speak to the out-of-state investors. I can speak to the first-time home buyers. I can speak to all the wherever you at in your real estate journey, I can speak to, because I remember like the contractor always saying, we got to go to Home Depot. We got to go Home Depot. I said, didn't you just come back from Home Depot 20 minutes ago?
Right.
Why do you have to go back again already? Then it's like, why am I seeing like, they buy a pop chips? And then this is like, is that all you went to Home Depot for? It's like, it's because the phone sale, you can do a phone sale. But it was like, I didn't realize that's why I knew I had to get involved again, because I thought at first I could just be hands off.
Yeah.
but I didn't have the money or the right people to kind of do it that way at that time. So then now that was really what impacted me a lot because I just kept seeing Home Depot, like multiple Home Depot. I'm like, if you're doing this, why do you have to go back so many times? And it's, when does it stop? I didn't know when the bleeding was ever going to stop. That
Yeah.
was hard for me. So that's where I was at. I finished that one out, but then I knew that's when I came back to Detroit because I wanted to be more hands-on because
Yeah.
out of state was hard for me, especially being a newer investor and also being an out-of-state investor, learning, being my project manager too. It didn't really work out well for me personally. So that's why a lot of times when I help these out-of-state investors, I do try to be their boots on the ground, from not try to, step on over any lanes, but just give them my experience based on what I've been doing.
Yeah.
Because I can, relate to how they're feeling and I can see what they're trying to do. So that also helped me deliver the message to them a lot better because I know what they don't see. I know what they want to know because a lot of times they say investors, but they are first time home buyers too. They're trying to first time investors that they're trying to buy their first property in general. Then they just happen to see Detroit's a hot market. So I try to help them because I also want them to have a good experience because if they do have a good experience, like I said earlier, they're going to continue buying. And that's ultimately what we want to have. So that's why I always try to create a positive environment and a good experience for them ultimately.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's big, man. It's hard to be so hands-on.
Yeah.
Especially if you have multiple properties going at one time.
Yeah.
Right. And you're right. The Home Depot thing, I thought you were talking to me for a second because I'm always that guy too, like, oh, I got to go back to Home Depot.
Yeah, always. Forgot some screws. Forgot this. It's always the little thing you need that I'm like, that's what threw me off because it was always like, we need this one thing. We can't finish the job until we get this one thing. And I'm like, you can't do nothing else while you at the house.
Right.
Now you can't finish that because it's always like, I forgot, like you got the drywall mud, you got the drywall nice, but you forgot the tape. How you forget the tape?
Right.
It's like, but then it's like, are you intentionally going back just to go, So those are things.
I need to pop and chips, right?
Yeah, it is pop hungry now. You gotta go,
Yeah, I got a hot dog. But like, so now with your process, do you have everything kind of like mapped out?
Yeah.
Where
and my thing is too now where at first I was interested in just who could do it all. And I don't want a generalist person so I always say, if you're funny like me, I don't want somebody like me. I want somebody who does their specialists. I want the specialties. I will pay more because I want to get the job done right. I just want the licensed plumber, the licensed electrician, licensed heating and cooling contractor. I want to have peace of mind. My thing right now is peace. Like that's all that's what I'm chasing right now.
That's priceless.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And then I know that you're doing and having reliable people too. I have a great team. I've got taught very well. So that's why I always give a lot of credit to the folks around me. Because I have all stand up folks, men and women. They all help me out too. Cause we all ultimately have the same end goal at the end of time. Let's knock this out so we go to the next job. And so now that's kind of helped me tremendously. So now that stream is almost on autopilot now. And that's why now, first it was more so talking about real estate, but now that's why I can speak more about inspections now, because now I can focus in on inspections instead of trying to stretch myself too thin by trying to be everywhere, and I can't be everywhere. So now I have a good core team where they kind of got my back on this side. So it's been great so far.
Yeah. And it's tough to get to that point.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
And I know a lot of investors, I know a lot of guys that do this.
Yeah.
And the hard part is then you got to keep the crew busy.
Yeah.
Right. Because if you don't have the next project, they're going to find the next project.
For sure.
And whether that's with you or
for sure
Joe Smith down the street, right? Like they're going to do the next project because they're not going to sit and not make money.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So their whole goal is just like everybody else is. I got to make more money.
Absolutely.
So it's keeping them busy.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And that's why even like right now, like that's the next step for me is to finish out the builder's license, to get that officially and then create my own construction company.
Okay.
That's just because I want everything I do, I want to be legitimate around. And so that's where now I will be more confident in taking on additional jobs. Because right now I don't do it. I just I just rather kind of do my thing and work on my houses. But then I realized that I'm almost like doing everyone a disservice because I could help them more so or less if I have my credentials. So, and I'll be willing to do it then. And so now I have every trade, everything you could think of. But then now it's just, I might as well have it umbrella under my company now. So that's kind of where my next step is. So like, because I'm already in houses, I'm already like trying to learn as much as I possibly can because we're stepping in now to the energy efficiency sector too. Just trying to help folks become more energy efficient too. So that's the space we're entering in now. So it's just ultimately I want to just close the gap. So I'm always looking at just different opportunities to get better and to help deliver a better service too. So that's really what we are moving forward to, and expanding the inspection company as well as the home improvement company too. So That's why I want to also assist. We have all the people you need. So like, so your point to keep them busy. I have more people ask for help than I'm always busy with that. Like even while all the time, just
Yeah.
all the time. But
Yeah.
that's why I always want to help. So I'm just trying to find ways to actually execute on that now too. Cause I keep hearing the ask, like, okay, now let me just answer that, and then have people and help them out the best
Yeah.
way I know how. Yeah.
So do you have your real estate license too or
I
no?
don't have a real estate license.
Okay.
My wife does.
What did you work on that?
My wife does. My wife does. She got it. I was
She
like,
handles all that. For
she
you.
handles that. She handles that. She handles that. I was like, I can't. She's great at that too. I'm
Yeah.
like, I'll let you do it.
Yeah. Well, it's better to put pretty face as the realtor.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Instead of my face, right? Like this face as
Yeah.
a realtor doesn't work that well.
I call my wife.
I would too.
For sure.
But no, man, it's cool because now it's a family thing,
Yeah,
right?
for
Like,
sure.
and it's involvement in the community.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's a big part of what you're bringing back too is like this can be like let's help the community get better,
Yeah.
right? Let's upgrade these houses. Let's get
For sure.
start taking care of things and fixing some things that got run down.
I like what you said too, because that's what I always try to lead with is how can I help? I
Yeah.
want to help. That's all I lead like with impact. Like that's what all I really talk about. Like I'm always here to help. Always call me to help. I'm always happy to help. Because that's like my biggest thing because I've seen so many people where they can't finish the job. They didn't have, it's always the same thing. I ran to a bad contractor and I got a whole scenario about that, but they always say they ran to a bad contractor. They didn't finish this deal and something fell apart. They didn't get back in contact with the realtor. It's almost like it's very transactional.
Yeah.
Of course, real estate is a transaction, but I always try to also is a community-based business too. So I'm like, I can deliver this community and I make you feel like, hey, no, like you're like, I see you like family now. And then you develop trust. So that's always what I kind of lean forward is how do I trust you? So I rather, develop that and show that I have integrity and that I stand behind my word that if you call me, I'm going to answer. I'm going to help you no matter what. And so I've done that a lot. That helped me grow my business tremendously because the people, when they're buying a house, it's not like they just they Google the larger home inspection companies. They feel like they actually got someone they can call and get on that phone and have have a real conversation, and they got real problems that someone actually listening on the other line. Yeah. And so that's what has helped me a lot in my business, growing mine. So,
and it's that's what I always tell agents too. Like we're in a service business. Yeah. Like this is a service industry, for sure. Right? Real estate is, and we got to stop selling so much and start helping people. For sure. Right. For sure. Like, cause they're making the biggest financial decisions in their life. For sure. Typically. For sure. You investors, that's a different ball game, right? The number either makes sense or it doesn't. For sure. There's no emotion involved with it. Yeah. But let me ask you this. Yeah. So for you, right, when things start, you're always helping. Who's helping you? Like who's that person you lead? Is there a person or is that something that we're working on?
We're working on it, but I'll say my family. Having my wife, my mom, and my daughter. Now we got another new baby on the way too in September.
Congratulations!
Appreciate it.
Yeah, congratulations.
It reminds you to slow down.
Yeah,
it reminds you to see what's important to you too. Like so, that's why now what's important to me. Sometimes I'm stuff like after like 5, 6 o'clock, I kind of just want to be at home, and I think that's okay. But now having a baby, when she comes open the door, she runs to me. Yeah, that means that everything in the world to me. So it's like, but you work hard, but you also can't forget why you got started because, like again, like we talked about earlier, entrepreneurship, you're never not busy. You always run around. I mean, you working more than your 9 to 5, but it's like, when do you cut it off? Like, I mean, so that's been my biggest helpful, like just seeing the true aspect of it. Then when my dad passed, also showed me a lot too, that we all have a date. Yeah. And so, but like create the impact, but then also create the impact at home too, because I can be out helping everybody, but then I also got to make sure that I'm helping home too. So that was a good reflection point for me too, and just having the different discussions, because I have a lot of great people in my life that a lot of honest conversations, a lot of just different things. We're chasing so much where it's like, I mean, who doesn't want to be like the biggest entrepreneur, the biggest home inspector, the best contractor, the best electrician? I mean, the list goes on. But at some point, it's like also what is like winning in your eyes. And like me having a family, we can go have fun, go to dinner, breakfast. Those are all like high impact moments for me. Yeah, and that's kind of what I like to do as well. So that my family kind of keeps me zoned in and grounded, I would say. Yeah.
And it's one of the things too. And you'll see this as your kids get older, because mine are 22 and 15 now, right? And my son goes away to school. He's home right now, but like he goes to Alabama.
Alabama, okay. Yeah. Roll Tide. My sister went to Alabama.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Roll Tide. Okay. We're a big Alabama family, right?
Okay. Yeah.
We're huge. but I, it's so, and he works for the basketball team.
Okay.
So he gets like he came home Saturday.
Yeah.
He's leaving Sunday.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So it's like these spurts of, but so it's one of those things you have to come to the realization. It's the quality of the time, not the quantity, right? And so that's where entrepreneurs and real estate agents will ask me, like, how do you find this work-life balance? I'm like, there isn't one.
Yeah, I say it all the time.
It's a work-life blend.
Yeah.
Right? You got to be able to blend it together. Right? Like last night we were out to dinner. Of course, I had to take a phone call, right? So, but I was able to step out, take the phone call, handle what I handle, and then go back in. And, it wasn't, so there's you have more control over it.
For sure.
Sometimes.
For sure.
Right? But it's having that realization of like, I still have to take care of business because that's why we're out to dinner.
Yep.
Right?
For sure.
And then, but I can still come back and have dinner.
Yeah. I told my wife that too. When we got married, I was growing the inspection company and we were out on our honeymoon. And like, I mean, people call and I'm like, I said, it's a 24-hour day. If I can't take a 5-minute call, let them know like, hey, I'm out of town. I wish I could help, but that's half the battle. But imagine, because I always take it very serious that if someone gives me a referral or someone calls me, that's your first impression. And so if let's say if I didn't answer the phone and just didn't never call back, I would never be sitting right here today. And so it's easier to me to say, hey, sorry, I'm out of time. I'm actually on my honeymoon right now. And they all empathize with that. Like, oh, no, well, I'll see you when you get back. Yeah, like, okay, go enjoy it. Let me get off the phone. And it's all, so then it already, now that kind of, that 5-minute conversation saved me years down the road for just having, and it allowed me to continue to build business just from that little 5-minute conversation, as opposed to saying, I'm out of office, I'm not answering the phone. That doesn't work like that, especially when you're trying to grow a business, So as you already know, it's the blending. So there's no balance. But then that's where it's like, it didn't take away the day. It didn't take away the moment where I'm always working. It's like, hey, I'm out of town right now. I'm sorry, just communication. Because most people, what I noticed that I try to communicate very effectively in real estate. Because that's what a lot of people are looking for. As long as you know what's coming your way, you can pretty much understand. Like it's all understandable, but you just need to communicate. A lot of times people don't want to communicate in general. Like if you're running a few minutes behind, just send a text like, hey, I'm, whatever, just so I know what's happening. Don't leave me in the dark. Yeah. That's the biggest thing I've seen. Like in real estate, that's why I see a lot of contractors. I talk to a lot of them because I try to also help in general because communication is a big thing in real estate, I'd say. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And that conversation you had on your honeymoon. Yeah. That they will remember that
for sure.
Like that is etched in their memory of, man, you took my phone call when you're on your honeymoon. Like
for sure.
And they're appreciative of that, right? Yeah. So that's the referral. That's the game. That's the long play.
Still work with them to this day. And even if I'm out of town, because I mean, we're human. We go out of town. We got this. We do this. So it's like you can't do everything, but the biggest thing we can do is always communicate. Yeah. The phone is just like, hey, I'm out of town right now. I can't get there. Or let them know ahead of time. So I try to let a lot of the realtors I work with let them know beforehand that, hey, I'm going out of town. I have this trip planned, especially the ones I work with all the time. And so that they have a heads up, because then, we all have a great relationship now. So, because at first, at a while, I couldn't go on vacation. I didn't feel comfortable out of town. I was like, I'm growing this business. I need to be back in town. But then now finally things are starting to settle in. And it's been a great journey. Been a great ride. Yeah.
Yeah. You start to get to a sweet spot, right? Yeah. Where it's kind of like the business is sort of taking care of itself. For sure. Right.
For sure.
And then what's and obviously builder's license, that's the next journey, right?
Yeah, for sure. And it's just continue to grow and scale the inspection company, because that's what I've been focused on a lot too. That's why I've been trying to partner with different cities across just to do different type of inspections for them, different services that we can offer. The energy efficiency space, trying to do energy audits as well. That's one of the next steps we're doing too. So just keep expanding where I can kind of keep building on the team. I have another inspector with me too that we work together with, growing the company in general. But ultimately my goal is to continue, and that's hard when the inspections is like your baby. Like every
that's the one you started, right?
That's the one you started, and it's different because typically I can call an electrician and they follow the code. They're gonna install per code, or they're a plumber, they're gonna install per code. But when you're dealing with a home inspection, it's like there's so many different factors that we don't talk about, because you have to be able to be customer friendly, I would say, or that's what I would say, customer friendly. Also be very knowledgeable of all components of the home. Like it's hard to say. My background kind of helped me push me in that light to know so much about the house, me working on houses, me messing up, me making mistakes on things while working on projects. Yeah. That all like comes to the experience, but it's hard to give that trust to somebody else, and then your name's on top of it. That's the hardest part, is that, because typically don't have the same experience that I have, coming in. Not saying they can't do it, but that's where it's harder to find trustworthy people to do the inspections. Like the construction is not as hard, I would say, as difficult, because I can find more electricians that are going to install per code than it is to be a home inspector to find these defects. And you got to pay attention to what's important to you, what's not important, because again, in Michigan, you just got to be certified. You don't have a license to follow, or you can follow different standards.
Oh, trust me, I know.
Exactly. So that's my biggest challenge, try to continue to build, but also get help and assistance in the home inspection space. Because at first I started off as just the investor. I was thinking I'm just going to be an investor, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah. I'm going to stand on this pile of money.
That's it.
And I'm just going to invest it.
That's it. And I was like, okay. But then the inspection company, then I realized that it taught me a lot, that I invest a lot more in businesses now, because that's the cash cow.
Yeah.
And that's really where it rolls in at. And so my biggest thing is like, how do we, but now it's almost like I pivoted. So this is like my 9 to 5, the home inspection. It's like my 9 to 5 now, I would say. But then I funnel the proceeds from inspections into real estate. So whether it be investment properties or flipping properties in general, I roll that in. So like now that's like because even your 9 to 5, that's your biggest investor, I would say. So the home inspection company has been my biggest investor. So I'm taking that and then tie it right back, reinvest it right back into real estate.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. And this is the hardest part about being a leader.
Yeah,
right? The hardest part about being is recreating yourself and others.
For sure.
Like, because
for sure.
They don't, not everybody has our motor.
Yeah.
Not everybody has the wherewithal to go through everybody's stealing everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
for
walking
sure.
back in the house with all the stuff I just did, and that's all gone.
For sure.
To go, all right, let's put it back in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like not everybody has that drive and determination to do that. A lot of people would have quit.
Yeah.
So it's hard to like find that and recreate that in others. That's probably like the biggest thing as an entrepreneur is like, people will say, well, I want to do what you do.
Yeah, no, you don't.
It's like, ride with me for a day. Here's my phone, take it.
Get the call at 2 a.m. I just had a house. They just having like earlier this week, Monday or Tuesday, they got a call from my tenant. The neighbor's garage caught on fire. I have vinyl siding on my house.
Oh boy.
And so the heat caused it to melt on my house.
Yeah.
And that's just what I dealt with on Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah.
It's like always something. I'm thinking the house is done, completed, everything's fine. Not even anything to do with me. The neighbor garage caught on fire and not it impacted me. So now that's another job I got to take on that I was not expecting to do now.
Yeah.
Unexpected expense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it happens, right?
It happens.
Like that's the life, right?
Yeah,
that's
the life.
That's and being prepared for it. Like that's and sometimes we're not even prepared for it, but that's just part of it. What was your contractor story?
My contractor story?
Yeah.
Oh man. No, well, contract. It's just my thing is this. With contractors,
we don't have to name names.
No names. It's not, but it's not even like this is me siding with the contractors, because what I always say, I also I put the perspective I put the mirror to the investor or the home buyers, that also you need to know what's going on too. Like you need to do your due diligence. They don't talk about that often. It's always like I had a bad contractor, I had a bad run-in with a contractor. But a lot of times you also didn't do your due diligence. You didn't do your own research and things like that either.
Right.
And so I always say that, again, typically when you go, let's say, change a tire, you might not know everything about tires, but you know a little bit about they're going to patch it, they're going to plug it, they're going to do, so you might know a little bit where you're going. You know what I mean? But a lot of times with the contractors, they just kind of want to be hands off, don't know nothing, and just kind of let it go. You got to be somewhat knowledgeable, because they're going to do exactly, let's say I want a kitchen done. You have to have a vision for your kitchen. They're going to do it to whatever they can think of. They can't read your mind, but you also didn't communicate that. So I hear that all the time. Like they didn't do it right. They didn't have the cabinets right, this and this. But you also didn't provide them a vision of how you perceive it. You just say, I want my bathroom done. That's it. I just want my bathroom done. But it's like you also have to do some due diligence too in what you're doing and what you're asking for. You just can't, to me, be hands off. And I would still say that's where I keep seeing the biggest flaws at. Well, they didn't do this right. They didn't do this. They didn't do that. But like you also didn't give them like a helping hand in what your vision was, because a lot of times it starts off like, I just want this I want my old grandma's tile gone. I want new tile all through here. And then you just give them, how I look at contractors, a lot of times we're installers. So we install with anything you want, whatever your vision is to install. So that's fine. But you also have a piece, you have a piece to play in it as well. So that's really not a crazy contractor story, but it's more so I always try to tell people too, like, what was your part in it too? Because a lot of times, did you communicate effectively? Did you give them did you lay out exactly what you wanted? a lot of times they typically when I talk to them, they say, no, I didn't. And then so that's always try to bring perspective on both sides. I would say that's pretty much all for the contractor story. But I just say as much as we deal, because even the contractors too. I've done it where they want you to do the work fast and they pay slow. It's like, but they don't talk about that part of it though. It's
right.
Like, okay, but then I can't believe that guy didn't want to come back. He's not answering the phone anymore. But it's like, it's always,
he was here for 3 weeks and you didn't pay him.
You gotta be a good customer too. That I think people miss. And so I think it's a 2-part series to everything. It's like, well, what was your part to play?
Yeah.
And that's why I look at it. It's like, so that's what I would say. It's a 2-way street. Typically when you're hearing the stories of people, it's usually a 2-part, I would say. Yeah. That's in short, but that's what I meant about contractors.
Well, it's always a 2-way street.
Yeah.
Not everybody agrees with that.
For sure.
Right.
For sure.
And nobody likes to look in the mirror.
Yeah.
And go, was it my fault?
Yeah.
Right.
And I mean, that's why I say like too, like if you got somebody that comes in too, like, cause even with me, sometimes I face that I'll tell somebody what it'll cost. Example, I had a house where we gave them an estimate. Didn't want to go with us. Fine, so be it. House caught on fire. Call us back. We got to fix it. Okay. But so that's the only to say is that they chose to go with someone who wasn't licensed, it would turn on for you. You thought it was fine, but you wanted a cheaper contractor.
Yeah.
And not saying cheaper is always better or whatever. That's not the point of it. But like you want someone who's not a credible source that you went through. Right. And so you didn't verify them. They just got somebody with the price that you're looking for and then you were done. Yeah. You didn't do your due diligence on like, do they have any licenses? Do they pull any permits? You didn't do any of that either. So that's still your doing. You hired that person. Yeah. Like, I mean, you knew what you were buying. Yeah. I told you we can do this, and this, and you decide not to. I mean, that's still the risk you would want to take on. So it's not necessarily that they'll say that contractor didn't do right. I mean, he don't have any of the paperwork to say he can do it right. You know? So it's just he did it to the best of his ability. Yeah. His ability is not my ability, but he did it to the best of his. He might know how to he might know how to hang a light, but he doesn't know where everything ties into. What's he tying into? What's he connected to? Is he overloading the circuit? Those things like that. Is the circuit on the right breaker? Just things that you may not consider. Yeah. That's what you're paying for, the experience side of it too. I would say so. But a lot of people, that's where I would say that it's also, you got to do your due diligence as well on who you're bringing in, who you're hiring for these projects. Because a lot of times people will go for people who can say, I can do everything. Yeah. That's not who you want to have. To me, I mean, at the time I was accepting that. Yeah. But when you grow. Coming from the guy that does everything. You come from the guy, I wouldn't want that for me. But like, coming from the cybersecurity expert that's a master plumber. Man, I'm like, but that's why I try to tell people, I want specialists now. I want specialists. You got to pay because, when you go, I always look at when you ride through new construction, you see different, they all specialists coming in. You don't just have somebody just doing every single thing. It's like you might have somebody who can handy or labor, things like that, but you're not it's more systematic approach. So I kind of look at me the same way. Yeah. I want the people who do, what do you do? Like when people, I do everything. What do you do? Like, what's your specialty? No, I don't need the person that do. I go from junk removals to I install your furnace and I can also do your roof. Yeah. Like, no, I'm fine. No, thank you. Thank you. But that's what I tell everybody, it's just kind of do your due diligence, but also like referrals, and it's ever changing. So you always got to just be, just kind of freshen up everything. Yeah. Keep sharpening your skills, I would say. Yeah. In both regards, whether you be an investor, whether you be a contractor. It's just because then, you just want to ultimately, how I look at it, want to deliver a good experience, but I don't want to build my real estate team with bench players personally. I'm not saying the bench players not good, but I still want to have prime players in there. Yeah. I don't want to just build a team with bench players and expect to have, win a championship. Yeah. Because I don't think you can win a championship with bench players, but all the way. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's the Pistons. In short. So that's what I would say. Like, no, I want the, those premier people too to try to help me, and that's what helped me grow because I have the right teams now. So that's what I would say. Yeah. No, I love it, man, and I think your story is special. Yeah. Right. It's the family lineage. It's community. How am I helping this out? How am I doing the right things? And I think you're gonna have an impact on the next generation. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because people are gonna aspire to be you. You know what I mean? Like how can I do what KJ does? Like how can I do those same things? And it's like, go to trade school, right? Like do all these. This is what I did, right? You could probably take the cybersecurity part out. Yeah, you ain't got to do that one. But that also, what happened with that though, realistically, it helped me understand what cybersecurity really was, because it's like you have cyber, which is essentially what it is. You have IT and you have security departments. They don't communicate typically. They typically in two different departments, but they missing because now you have people who can secure the building, who understand physical security, but then you have IT who can build you anything but don't understand security. And like the two worlds don't even meet. You know what I mean? So it was that middle ground. So same thing with home inspector. So it kind of feels in the same way, is that I understood that it was a space where you could sell anything and you got a contractor who can build anything, but the two sides don't meet to kind of deliver the message to the homeowner or to the investor. So that's a missing piece. So I try to funnel that, but that's where the background got me, because I write reports like I work for the government still, like doing like cyber.
Of course you do.
But then I deliver a message like a consultant.
Yeah.
You know, so it kind of helped me too, because that was my experience. I leveraged my experience that I got from the work life and brought it in. But you don't have to do cybersecurity to understand it. But it was a good background for me, because I still went all the routes, because I can still it helps me communicate with clients, because I deal with a lot of people who might be IT, might be cybersecurity, might got a master's degree, because most people you deal with not really going higher than a master's. I mean, some of them have a doctorate, but most of them I've already obtained those things too. So it helps me relate to you, like, oh, you did this, or like, you like how you just did Alabama. My sister went to Alabama. Like, how common is that? But again, that's still our experience that we can speak to and kind of, you know, further have a conversation around. Yeah. So that's helped me, because it's like, it's so well versed, but then it's still like focused on the same thing. So it's not just trying to do every single thing right now, but it's just, you know, it's I would say all helpful, all kind of ties in.
I love it, man.
That's why I always tell people, just never stop learning. Yeah. Because even now I'm still looking in the mirror every day. I still look in the mirror, see where I can improve at. That's why I'm still in different cohorts. There's different opportunities that are offered, and I'm just trying to take advantage of everything, because I always look at it from the standpoint is that I can't tell my daughter she can be anything she want to be, and I'm not doing it. I got to be the example. So in short, it's like, how do I continue to be that? Because if not, I'm giving her BS. Right. Then I want to make sure that when she looks at me, like, I know my dad, if you want her to be something proud of, something that she sees in front of her too. So my dad did that. Yeah. And like, boom, I look the same way. Like, look at, you know, Ford. I'm like, I didn't even know what it started. Yeah. I'm like, I could be the same. I could be the originator. I could be that too. Yeah. You know what I mean? Just how I look at myself. So I want to push that same thing in my life, because I never know like KJ, but then like the Russ brand, it's like, how far can this really go? Yeah. And then they stand on top of the shoulders. So I'm standing on top of the shoulders of my ancestors that came before me, my granddad, my dad. And then my dad could never imagine what I would take this to. Even like, he was like, you sure you can do this? He was, of course he had the best interest for me, but I realized the ceilings. Yeah. The ceiling's only so high. And then now it's not saying they don't see, but that's all they can see. But once you take the ceiling off, it's like, oh yeah. Okay. But then now you continue going. So even things I can't even imagine, is like, I don't know where my daughter or my son will take it to the next level, but that's where I'm trying to give them the stepping stones, like, or being that opportunity for them to continue to grow. Yeah, that base layer, right? For sure. Well, as we're wrapping up today, where can everybody find you? I'm on Instagram a lot, so KJ_Russ is the biggest thing, or RussInspections.com. Book an inspection. RussInspections.com. I love it. Yeah. Everybody go book an inspection today. Yeah, sell a house, book an inspection. Even you don't even just book one. We also do pre-sale. We can look at your house to see what's going on. So it's always a good thing. So and the pre-sale ones are coming back. That's I tell everybody, we can get in front of it right now. Yeah. If you think about selling, call us. If you want to sell, call us. If you got something on the market, call us. Yeah. Well, if you think about selling, call me first, then I'll call you. Call me. Oh man, well, I appreciate you coming out this morning. I told you this hour goes fast. Yeah, this hour goes fast. So I appreciate it. We'll have to get you back, because we got some more stories to cover and go from there. But guys, you can find us wherever you find podcasts. Find us at the Elite Real Estate Podcast, the EliteEdgeNetwork.com, the Elite Edge Network on YouTube. Like and subscribe to the channel, and we will see you all next week. Everybody have a great 4th of July.